Streetboarding dreams, future and past. Here in the present, it's DRGNCAST.
So what's up from a rainy London? So I just got a little bit soaked rushing home to get to this. This is episode, I can't remember what anymore, 7, I think. This is another DRGNCAST. So big up to my co-host. Big up, Sam. What's up?
Safe, man. How's it going?
Good, rainy, wet, tired, but we're here. This next guest is going to wake me up, I think. What's up for Flex of the Fortnight this week?
Oh, yeah. There's two.
Is it?
There's two flexes of the fortnight this week. There's a bonus flex because, what's it called?
Bonus flex.
1 minute 30 drops. So there's so much to choose from, man. So the first flex of the fortnight, hang on, I've forgotten his name. One sec. Andreas Gomez. And he's skating like this kind of BMX-y looking part, and he cruises over the box, and he does a backside 360 fucking power slide thing, quarter pipe. I thought it looked really cool. So safe. And number two flex of the fortnight is our very own Johnny Webster, man. I watched his, yeah, I loved this video, man. And I spotted it the second time I watched it. It's quick. He does a little, there's like a little triangle rail in a park, and he does a Smith up it and a Smith down, man. Blink and you miss it, but it was smooth. I saw that.
That was banging,
yeah.
Man. Yeah, man. True School one's going to be banging, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's gonna be a bonus feature on TSFM.
Yeah. Standard, man. Like, deadline? What? Nah, man. We don't pay attention to that. Well, anyway, so.
Man, last I checked, yeah, September ends today.
That's true, man. That's true. What?
No? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, according to Johnny, I should have started Sober October yesterday or something.
Yeah. Well, you should have. Have you?
No.
Oh, no, seen.
No, that's tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, true. Anyway, let's move on to our guest. Enough fraff, enough breeze. Our next guest is, he's been in the UK streetboard scene and the wider streetboard scene for years. He's done everything. Ran probably one of the most stylish, most loved streetboard brands in streetboarding ever. Ran contests, we've worked together behind the scenes on so many things over the years, and just really like driving force behind the UK scene and streetboarding as a whole, as well as throwing down some nang tricks. Big it up, it's Mr. Colin. Horan, what's up, Colin?
Hi guys, how you doing? Good to see you both. Good to see everyone. Well,
Good.
I can't see everyone, but hopefully you can all hear me at least. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
No, definitely. Welcome on the show, man. I'm looking forward to this one. I don't know where to kick it off, really. We've got so much that we can talk about, but I think I'd like to just go right back to the beginning, man. What happened right at the beginning? Well, how did you start streetboarding? Let's get that bit out of the way, and then we can move into multiple other subjects.
Yeah, it's I guess I was probably like, I think I was about 16 or something. It was like the last year of high school, and a friend that was in my year at school, like, I think he offered to sell me a board for like a tenner, like the Pro board or something. It had like no bindings, like the grip tape was all worn off and stuff. And he, I think he still skated, and he was good friends with Ryan, who you obviously know. And I was like, yeah, cool. Because I think I'd been on like my first snowboard trip or something. So I think I was aware of snakeboarding. And I remember I didn't really know Ryan at the time, but he was a couple of years above me at school, or 1 year above me. So I'd heard he was like big into snowboarding and stuff. And so I was like, this is cool. I'll get into this. And it's funny because I remember like after like the week later, I went into a newsagent's. It was like, I'm going to go and get a magazine. And I was like, I can't find one. And then for some reason, I thought it was bigger than it was. And then I quickly realized that perhaps it wasn't. And so yeah, I got riding on that board for a little bit and figured out how to move. But I realized I needed some bindings. So some other kid at school who'd like given up sold me one. I think it was like 25 quid. It was pretty much the same board, but in better condition with bindings. And it's funny, the first day I was on my drive at home, the first day I got going with bindings, because suddenly you can go a lot quicker, I hit a stone and I broke my arm, like right up here. And I probably should have given up at that point, because, you know, I'd barely started. I think my mum was like, "Oh, get a skateboard, but it's much safer." But I don't know, there was something that kind of made me want to keep going. So like a couple of months of healing and stuff, and got back on it, and that was it from there.
What sort of year was this?
So what? It's probably 99, maybe, last year of school.
Oh, well, then when you're in the newsagent, you were looking in the wrong place for the magazine on streetboarding, because Anal Toupee used to be just on the top shelf, man. That's why. It was 99. That's when it first came out.
Back then, man. I couldn't quite see it.
Yeah. That's no way I could ever reach it, man. Luckily, we made it. Safe, man. And where are you from? Where do you hail from? Because your town has got the best name ever.
Yeah.
Language.
So I'm from a small town called Nantwich, which Brodie knows very well.
Yeah.
So Nantwich is like, I guess, like 45 minutes drive south of Manchester. It's in Cheshire, for anyone outside the UK. And it's just a small little market town, really. It's a nice enough place, but not a huge amount going on. It's not a skate mecca of any sense.
Yeah, it kind of used to be for us, man.
Yeah. It's got a bit of history in streetboarding.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you guys came up a little bit because Ryan's from Nantwich as well. I think you guys came up a couple of times to kind of film for one with Ryan. So I'd hang out with you guys then, and then what was it, like 2002 or something? We had nationals at Stockport.
2001. 2001. That was that was part of the Truthful tour. Yeah, was that?
Yeah,
No,
it was the first stop. I broke my wrist.
Oh shit! I completely forgot. No, the part of the True Schools tour, we had our local skate park was called the Boneyard, which is like
That's
20
it.
drives,
Yeah.
kind of in the middle of nowhere in the country, in a warehouse. And that was the first stop on the True School tour. And like Brinton was there, and it was funny because I was a young kid, so having like Brinton come to Nantwich was kind of, it's pretty cool. And I remember I think he arrived at the park and there was a load of kids like wanting his autograph and stuff, which is kind of bizarre. But yeah, so we had a contest there, and then it would have been the year later we did Stockport Nationals, and even though Stockport's like 40 minutes away, I think we all camped in a campsite in Nantwich, which was a bit bizarre, but that was when we had like big turnouts back in the day, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, big up, and then Brodie's favourite thing in Nantwich was if anyone goes to Nantwich, and big up to Mr. Rich Brodie, all the way out there running the pasty company. He loves the Indian restaurant called Spices. Says nothing will ever touch it, and he still goes on about it to this day. So if you're ever up in Nantwich, go check.
Spices still open.
Pardon?
Well, it's funny.
Spices in Nantwich still open. I'm going to check.
Probably is, but for some reason I'm on their like text database. So every bank holiday I get a text from them for some reason. So yeah, it's just I always forward it to Brodie.
Jokes. I wonder if they do. Uber Eats down to London or out to Phoenix.
Yeah, man, it's open till midnight.
Yeah.
What time?
And I think you got to order for your own website.
Is it? I like that one. They don't no
Like
commitment to Uber
Mm.
and all of those big ones. Big it up.
Well, that's cool. It's still going, man. We'll stop in for a curry one night.
Yeah, definitely.
So at that point, I mean, because like, when did you first do a video part? Or when was it you did a handrail? I remember. Was that your first handrail? That handrail that's in Nantwich at the bus station? Or was that Chester?
No, that's in Crewe. So yeah, Crewe, Nantwich, almost the same place. So yeah, that was definitely my first handrail. It's a really cool handrail. Apart from it's got first thing it had two screws as like skate stoppers, which I think me and Ryan unscrewed one day. And then at the bottom it's got a curb, so if you land, you almost like land and then have to roll the curb. So not great for your first one, but yeah, that was, I think it's like a 9-stair or something. That was the first one I did. And then I think there's another one not far away that we did. I think Steph filmed it, which means it never made an appearance anywhere, but it had like a little death kink on the end.
Yeah. I remember that. That was sick. And then, because I'm trying to remember back then, like, because you were around skating, you'd organised those contests, and then you did start. What started first? Did you start editing and did a few edits, or was it, well, you went away snowboarding at some point and then started doing some edits and stuff?
So, I don't know what. So back when I started, so like, 2000, 2001 or something, I think I got myself like, a fairly bog standard DV cam, and we filmed kind of local videos. So like me, Ryan, a few skateboarders and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's pretty shit, it's pretty, but you kind of need that first practice of getting into filming and editing. And I remember I was just using like my dad's PC, and like, we finished it and then realized that like the sound wouldn't sync and all sorts. So that was kind of the first thing that I got into. But then it wasn't really until we started filming like for Seldom Seen that I took it a lot more serious. So I think we did, when I was doing snowboard season, so 2008 or something, I don't know. We did this little video contest thing, which we ended up winning. And again, I think it was the first time I'd like used Final Cut. So that kind of helped me like progress a little bit, because you can do a little bit more on it and stuff. So, when it's like iMovie, I don't even think back in the day you could do like slow-mo. Or if you could, it was like really, really bad. So like you were so limited.
Yeah. No, back then that was. I always remember being really jealous of your DV cam, because you had Firewire in and I never had that, man. And I was.
You didn't have Firewire in. You were pretty fucked, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
You had to like go somewhere else to get it back onto VHS or something.
Yeah, that's for one. We had to pay to get that done, I think, or something.
Yeah. It's funny. My mate Al, who is a photographer, he messaged me the other day. He just bought, because it's like now trending back to buy the DV cams, and he's like messaged me going like, what do I do? How do I get it onto my computer? Because like Firewire is not a thing anymore. And he's having to like buy some other device and stuff. It's kind of weird that it's kind of coming back on trend.
Jokes, man. Al's cool. He's been running a lot recently, no? Or every so often he pops up on my Strava, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's him. It's Alex somebody, but I keep thinking it's him. But maybe, what's his surname?
Lockett.
Yeah, it is him. Yeah, he pops up every so often. He does like 5 or 6 Ks here and there. Yeah, you should follow him. Get up on Strava. So like, because you mentioned Seldom Seen, but that's kind of skipping forward a bit, because you started day one quite a while before that, didn't you?
Yeah. I never know the exact date, but I think it was like 2001, 2002 or something. It was around about that time. And then kind of, it was a little bit later that I kind of really pushed it a little bit more.
What made you want to start a company in the first place?
Say again?
What made you want to start a company in the first place? What pushed you to start day one?
Yeah, I think the whole purpose of day one, and kind of the reason I think where the name comes from as well, is I wanted to give the scene something it could like, it felt like it could be proud of. So it was kind of the brand that I would want to exist in streetboarding, and give it an identity, because and kind of started with clothing, and it didn't really evolve any further than that. But there was the kind of merchandise and clothing that existed in streetboarding was kind of tagged onto other things, and it was quite cheap and kind of, and it was just like a cheap version of whatever brand existed, the stuff. So I think I just wanted to give a bit of kind of quality and a brand that people can be proud of. So day one kind of represented this kind of new beginning. So, back in sort of 2000-ish, when the sport kind of transitioned from, I guess we refer to it as the snakeboard into streetboard, but I kind of hate, you know, that for me they're the same thing, but for ease of understanding, it became kind of a rider own. So it was about kind of representing that for me.
Sweet, man. Yeah, no, it was, I mean, because it took a while, because you were just it was always just a clothing brand. That's really what you did. And then it was, but or am I wrong? You did, it was just that. Did you make anything else?
Yeah, it was. That's pretty much all it was. Yeah.
Which that, I mean, it ran for years and years and years, but I mean, it really took over the scene as like a go-to brand. And like, you're right, I think it was something that people could relate to. It was stylish and it meant something in the scene, which is, I mean, definitely something to be proud of. And I think everyone was proud of it. But it was really early on. But when was it that you started putting together the team to really do Seldom Seen and kind of take it? You kind of took it to that next level at that point.
Yeah, so Seldom Seen was released in 2011. I think it took us about 2 years to make, but I think it was so there's like a 4-year period where for every winter I just went snowboarding, and I didn't skate that much for 4 years, but I kind of learned. I kind of came back like re-inspired for skating, and it was then that I kind of had this passion to kind of evolve it a little bit more and do something with it. So what we're talking like 2008, and I don't really know when we started the team, but I think it was like John and Simon were the first 2 guys, and my approach was kind of two things I was looking for. So I guess we weren't at a stage where I felt confident that it's like, let's just go get the best riders that exist, because I've got nothing to offer them. And, you know, I didn't have the relationship with them, and, you know, I didn't feel confident to do that. But I also wanted to kind of champion new up and coming riders. And I kind of felt, I think Simon talked about it in his podcast, actually, you know, Simon was like just kind of on that cusp.
Yeah. And like me and Sam as well, we were new up and coming riders.
Yeah, well, you know, but you guys came on a little bit later, I think, when we were about to film the video and stuff. And then like Eric was like, when do we have that contest in Birmingham where Eric was like, I don't know, like 8 or something. I'm exaggerating. He turned up, and as soon as I saw him, I was like, I want this guy. Like, that's basically the perfect kind of potential for someone to be on the team.
Yeah.
And he didn't really speak much English. And I remember, like, I went over with Sergi, and we kind of spoke to him, and Sergi was like translating, and he was like super stoked to be involved. So that was kind of the premise. And then we got you 2 on board once we started kind of talking about the video. Kind of went from there.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Seldom Seen?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Those were some happy years, man. How long did we film that video for?
I think it was about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels like a lot longer. But it's probably 2 years, or maybe a little bit longer. But then, you know, you always do like the first 6 months of footage you kind of never use. There's maybe like 1 or 2 tricks that you never use, because by the time, you know, you're using all the kind of fresh stuff at the end, because you've got a little bit better or filmed a little bit better. But yeah, those were good times. And it's funny because like the kind of effort that we all put in to make that video, like there's no way I could find the time or energy to kind of do that now. And not just me, but like to coordinate 6 of us to kind of make that happen would be like absolutely impossible. It was hard enough at the time.
Yeah. No, I mean, you put in a lot of work, and like, because I mean, for everybody else, it's only, you know, they're only filming really their part, but you're the one who is there with everybody, trying to motivate them to go out and skate, traveling to skate with them, depending where they were. And that was a hardcore 2-year process. There were a couple of trips, weren't there, as well, linked with it?
Yeah, so I think we did like, we did 2 big Barcelona trips, I think. I think I remember me and Sam went for like a little weekend at the end to try and get a few bits.
Yeah, right at the end.
But yeah, I think like for anyone who's filmed and completed and released a video will know the process that you go through. But you hear a lot of people, they start and then they kind of you never hear from it again, right? Because you've got to be like on it. You've got to probably have someone kind of leading it and make sure everyone stays motivated and go out and film. And to your point, like you guys kind of think of your own part, and I was having to think of everything. And like I'm a bit of a control freak as well, so I want to make sure that if I'm there, I'm going to film it, because the last thing I want is someone to do a sick trick and then I look at it and be like, oh fuck, the filming is so shit, like we can't use this. So I've got to make, so often when we go on these trips, I'm like, all my energy is like making sure we get everything else. And then it's really hard to then like think of my own part and stuff. So much goes into it.
Insane.
I think it was just such a perfect combination of people, on those trips. You had your kind of like, you were sort of driven and you had a vision about what it you wanted it to be. Like Simon is super motivated to skate. Not sure what me and Jamie were bringing.
We were motivated to find the best bars and the best.
Yeah, we brought something, but there was something about the combination of people, man. And John White just bringing the jokes and I don't know the knowledge of birds and all that kind of shit,
Birds.
Like if you spot a bird like floating over the motorway, take a picture, send it to John White. He'll tell you what it is. No worries.
Oh man.
I was going to say, John's funny because I think if we had never have said anything, John would have gone on all the trips and not filmed a thing. He would have been kind of content. And John's such a good skater, but I don't know if it's like modesty or laziness or I don't know what it is, but he's just kind of happy and content, and it's a great position to be in. But
he did some of the most ridiculous tricks for Seldom Seen though. In his part. Have you seen anyone do a back 540 out of Backsmith since?
No.
Maybe Eric's done it. I don't think I've seen that shit.
Yeah, maybe.
But I mean, that's his ender. That's his ender, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. And I don't know, man. Simon absolutely slays in some of that. Your section that is so banging, and that tune. Who's the tune by again? My mind's got Chromeo. Yeah, it's such a wicked opener, man. No, that was a good video. If you haven't checked it out, people check it out. Is it online? I think the full thing's online on Vimeo. Is it?
Yeah, it's definitely online. I think the whole video, and then like I think each of the individual parts. I think I've not checked it for ages, but it's on there.
And then was it during Seldom Seen filming or afterwards that you did real life, that you started doing real life? I can't remember exactly when the first one was.
No, I think the first one was 2009. So we did London 2009, Paris 2010, and then Barcelona 2012, and so we just did those three.
Cool. And what was it for the people out there who don't know what real life
was? What it is.
Yeah, so real life it's basically a video contest, and the concept was that we'd all meet in a city. So the first one was in London. We all met at this one spot in Waterloo, at Burger King. It's tradition.
Yeah.
And you've basically got 24 hours to film and edit a video. I think it was 2 minutes, the cutoff. And basically we'd meet at the same spot 24 hours later, and you would have to hand in your completed edit. And then what was cool is no one would see the edits, and then we'd have like a premiere night. So we'd go to a bar and we'd all watch everyone's edits in the evening, which was always really cool. So it was actually inspired, so I mentioned it before, by a contest I did when I was snowboarding, which I can't remember what I think it was called 24/7. And we actually had a week to film and edit a 4-minute video, which was really fun. And we edited some kind of like chase scene snowboard thing and ended up winning it, which was cool. and that was the first one they'd ever done. And I was like, this is such a cool concept, so I wanted to bring it into streetboarding. But I think it went really well. Like we had quite a few teams, I think, the first year, and then the French guys, the Ducktail guys, won.
Yeah,
loved it, and we're like, okay, let's make this happen in Paris next year. We went to Paris. That was really cool. And then I think I've always got like amazing memories of the one we did in Barcelona in 2012. I think when we all turn up at that bar and everyone watches the edit that everyone's done. And bear in mind, like in 24 hours, like just the editing alone is a long process. So you spend as much of the day as possible trying to get your footage down. And then whoever, and it's normally me in our case, has to stay up all night and edit. And I think, was it your team, Jay, that like something's always going to go wrong, like you forgot to bring the cable or whatever.
We deleted everything was deleted, and we had to do it all again. And we were sitting in Sergi's apartment. I think there must have been about 10 of us in there. I think Kai Hammond was there. Was he on our team? I don't know, but he was hanging out. Big up to my bro Kai, just hanging out, and just I can't remember who was with Sergi at the time, if he had a girlfriend or not, but everyone was smoking in there and just sitting and editing on the floor, and it was so stressful. But when you get to that bar after the 24 hours, no sleep, it was just sitting down watching everyone's edits.
In the one in Paris, I didn't have a laptop, so I only had like a 27-inch Mac, like a desktop Mac, and we all drove in my car. So I had like the Mac in the box, which is taking up like most of the car. And I think we stayed, I think it was 5 of us that stayed in a hotel room, like on the outskirts of Paris, that probably only slept like 2 people, like people were sleeping on the floor and stuff. And I've like got this whole like office set up with like some massive Mac in there because that's the only thing we can edit on. Yeah, it's quite good fun.
Oh, that was jokes.
Hard work, man. I remember that hotel room in Paris. I remember Brody being there. Was Brody there?
Yeah, Brody was with you guys.
Yeah. Brody
came with me, really. He was with us.
I just remembered a story, like on one of the many trips that we've been on together, Colin. It was to Paris, but it was another time when Little Pete, big up to Little Pete, was working for a hotel chain. So he got us a hotel room at one of the one of the most expensive hotels in Paris for £18 a night. And we got 2 rooms. So we actually each, for once on a streetboard trip, had a bed. Now, I can't remember what we were doing. We went out that night. I managed to get us into a club because it was like, oh, it's guest list only. I was like, oh, no, we're on the guest list under Red Pen. Red Pen. They were like, who put you on there? As quick as anything, I was like, yeah, Vianney, and they just let us straight in because it was such a French name. And anyway, you guys went back to this is the most evil thing. I didn't do it on purpose, but no one ever do this to anyone. You guys went back to the hotel. I, of course, stumbled out and carried on partying. But I'd left my work phone, I think, or one of my phones in the safe of the hotel room because I didn't want to take 2 out with me. But I completely forgot that I'd set my alarm for like 6 or 7 a.m. for some reason on that phone. But I hadn't given Colin the code to get into the safe. And so Colin was stuck there with my alarm going off for hours. And I think when I came back into the hotel room, like all the pillows in the world were just like piled over the safe. I'm really sorry about that, man. It wasn't on purpose.
That's such an evil thing to do, man.
I'd forgotten about that, but I remember it clearly. And I also, that if, you're not coming home anytime soon as well, because I know that. So you could be.
What did you get up to, Jamie? Did you have a good night?
Oh man, I went to this random after party with a load of there were a load of Moroccans in there who were a little bit dodgy. It was like a bit of a mix of like just the underworld in Pigalle, up in North Paris. But before Pigalle became like now it's like a hipster super area. This is when it was still
back when it was cool. Before you heard of it.
Yeah. It was. Oh man, it was pretty dark, that place, man.
Safe, cool. Well, talking about
we'll go into that darker cast, man. We'll go back. We'll go into that story a bit more on darker cast, yeah.
Darker cast. Yes, let's talk. Well, speaking about hipster shit, you lived in Stoke Newington for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, you lived. So you moved from Nandwich to Reading. Do you want to talk about Reading? Or should we skip it?
Yeah, I'll skip it.
Okay. Harsh, man.
No, that green handrail.
Yeah. What about
Was it blue?
What about those rollerblading crews?
Yeah, no,
What's
no.
that guy's name? Give that
Uh,
kid a shout out. You know, the guy that does the double set.
yeah, no, Reading was cool. Actually, no, Reading was fun. I mean, that's where we that was the base when we made Sail on Scene.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had the nightmare with the double set as well. We went there like twice or something.
Yeah, I can get it. Never mind.
But Reading had some spots, man. Reading had some spots. Like that super steep rail was gnarly, man. I think what
Which
does Simon
rail?
do on it?
Oh yeah, the bus station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
Is there have you got a thing that you only move to places where there's handrails at the bus station? Because that one in Crewe is at the bus station as well, man.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's kind of the best place to check out first of all, right?
Yeah, I bet we should go check it. In Hampstead, we never had anything at the bus station there. Oh no, there was a couple of spots.
So, what made you make the move from London to Manchester?
I guess London's great. I love living in London. So I was there 6 years, I think, 5-6 years. But I guess I'm not from London. I'm from kind of Manchester, and you get to a point in London where most people start to kind of move out a little bit. And you've got that decision where you either live in a tiny flat in the cool place of London, or you move out to somewhere you don't really want to be anyway. So it made more sense to move to Manchester, so I can still be in the city. I can afford to live in a better place, and Manchester's cool. Like, it's nearer my family. I've got some friends up this way. Rains a bit more, but it's a cool place.
Cool, man. Cool. No, it's good. I mean, Manchester, I really like the vibe up there, man. And last year, the UK Open, that was sick fun, man. You've all organised quite a few different contests over the years and been involved in either organising, judging. What's been your favourite that you've been involved in?
It's a good question. There's probably loads I can't even remember organising, but I mean, we've spoken about it, but I think Real Life is my favourite for sure, because that's kind of unique, and I think I think like big up to Johnny for 130, but I know that's kind of inspired from Real Life, because Johnny always came to Real Life and stuff, and that's really cool, and especially this year, like so many entries and kind of really evolved, and I think it's a really, really cool concept. And I wish it always sort of falls at a time when I can't film, or I'm like busy and stuff, so I can't do it. But other than that, what's my favorite ones? I thought like me and Paul I like the one we did in Liverpool.
Bolarama was that?
Bolarama. We put a lot of effort into that and like trying to get prize money and stuff, and that's the important thing, because I want to try and attract the riders, but I also think the riders deserve to have the money, to make the effort. That's ultimately that's how the scene should work, is that there should be prize money. We're not at that level, we know that, but if we can do whatever we can, and we always tried to get a few sponsors involved. I think we had like Drunken Monkey that time that put in like a few £100 and stuff. So makes it a bit more exciting. It's quite a cool concept. What else have we done? We've done between you and I, we've done a few nationals and stuff, and it's hit and miss, right?
Nationals, if anyone's, I mean, both of us have organised together and apart, like so many different, or been involved in organising a lot of different contests, and it's a lot of hard work, and I definitely feel that we've got that experience that we can, what works and what doesn't work. I definitely felt that when we got involved a little bit at Worlds last year, that really, really, really helped in terms of the like just in terms of the format of the day.
Yeah,
and
exactly. And but I mean, those guys put on a really, really cool event. You know, in terms of the professionalism, it's like probably the best one I've been to, and for street putting wise. What else have we done?
I
thought,
yeah, go on.
I thought the Manchester event, like the UK Open last year, was really cool. We had like really good turnout. But I think I've kind of over the years, like I've changed from, you know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. It was like I was a bit more obsessed with like trying to do promotion and making it a bigger thing and getting people to come, and like all the effort that goes with that is hard work and very little reward. And my view is now like, let's just make it for the riders. Let's just make it so everyone has a good time. I don't, you know, it's great. And it's great if like other people outside the sport see it, but I kind of don't really care anymore, because what we're going to do is like, it's not going to be enough to make that difference. So let's just focus on making it good for us. And if people are there to see it, then they'll see we're having a great time, and that's cool.
I just thought of something as well that while we've been talking, a contest we didn't organise or anything like that, but we flew out to. It's the one in Shanghai. Tell us a story about the contest in Shanghai in, what was it, 2013, 2012? I can't remember what year.
2012, yeah. That was a cool trip. So me, you and Max went out together. It was pretty cool, and I mean, there's loads of guys there. Such a cool trip, and like big up Greg for organising that, because it's probably the best trip I've been on. It was the most
romantic trip I've ever been on, definitely.
Say again.
Most romantic trip I've ever been on.
Yeah, but yeah, I broke my wrist on like the first day, and it was pretty bad.
What trip was it? I can still see it in my mind. It was horrible.
Yeah. So, do you know what? Like 2012 was probably like, I reckon, the peak of my skating, like ability wise, and I was kind of pretty into kind of warm. You know, I think it was the warm up for the contest or qualifiers or something, and there was a big down ledge. And I think I did a backsmith, and it was kind of fine. And I did another one, and I slipped out. And when you slip out of a backsmith or any smith, you go down. And I went kind of backwards, and I put both hands down on my neck. So I think I hit my head, both wrists, and basically both wrists were in pain, and it was hurting pretty bad. And it turned out, I think, we kind of hung around for the day. I think we went to get some ice from the shop. I think all I could get was like a cold beer, so it's like kind of icing it with a beer. And I thought it would be fine. I thought I'd just bruised it, like I wasn't going to skate anymore, but I thought I bruised it. And then we went out that night. I think it was the drop what was it called? Drop This premiere.
Yeah.
At night, so everyone was out having beers and stuff, and then I think you and I were like, because you're always up for a night out, and I was like, well, fuck it, we're not skating tomorrow. We went out and found that club Shelter.
Oh, that was a banging club.
Yeah, so we went out and got home at like 5 a.m. or something, had like a really cool night. And then I think the next day I was like, everyone got up and went off to the skate park, and I was like still in bed. I was like super hungover. I was like, right, I've probably got to go to the hospital. I'm pretty sure I broke my wrist. So I think either Greg or Greg's girlfriend, or I think it's his wife now, maybe wife at the time, wrote down this little piece of paper in Chinese. On one side of the paper, it said the directions to the hospital. So it's like, go and find a cab, give that to the cab driver. And then on the other side was, when I got to the hospital, it was like, this is what I've done. Like, so I turned up at the window, and I was just like, and so I got I was like there for a few hours, whatever, didn't know what was going on. I hadn't like showered because I just went straight there. I like felt like absolute shit, like really, really hungover. And anyway, I don't think I had insurance, which is completely stupid. But anyway, I think I realized I was at like a private hospital. But they saw me and then they were like, okay, this is what happened, but you need to get some other scan or like a CT scan or something. And then they sent me across town to another hospital, which was the weirdest place I've ever been to. It was like the other side of Shanghai. And I had no idea what was going on. I almost felt like I was in a horror movie, because it was just like kind of people like wandering around with like kind of arms falling off, it felt like at the time. And eventually got seen. And then, so I think I managed to get hold of Greg, and after the skating finished, like he came over with his wife and someone else maybe. And then the doctor came out with the x-ray, and obviously they were just speaking like Mandarin to each other, and was like, oh my God, they were like their shock on their face. And I was standing there like, what's going on? They were like, you've literally shattered your bone and you need surgery within 2 weeks. So you can either have it here or you can go home. And I think we had like another 10 or 11 days. So I was like, I'm going to see it out, and I'm just going to sit it out here and go home and get it done. So I managed to get it when I got home done in time. But basically for the rest of the trip, I was just hanging around, like filming with one arm. Like Max was carrying my bags for me, but it was cool. I didn't have to think about skating. I could just enjoy the trip in China. It was quite fun.
Still your favourite trip though?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh Jesus, that's the worst hangover story.
I think we went straight back out to shelter again the next night.
Yeah. Remember? Well, yeah, we moved the after party from there to from that club with the worst sound system in the world ever. We literally had zero bass. It was just all high end, and then everyone was like, "This place is horrible and crowded." Me and you were like, "We know somewhere better." And I think the guys appreciated, because it was full of Scandinavian ladies who worked at the H&M head office. So it was quite...
Oh yeah, you know what? We later in the trip we were in Chengdu, because they got some weird clubs in China, and it was me, Max, Thomas, and some of the other guys that were there. And there was this massive, it was like a super club thing we were in, and then out of nowhere, like there was like a kind of dance floor bit, and then we didn't realize it was on hydraulics, and the dance floor just like comes up like 20 meters, and suddenly you're like in the air. It was and there was like people outside with like monkeys and stuff, and like, I don't know, people asking us, because like Max was like a superstar, because he was like white, like long hair, like everyone loved him. They were like inviting us over to tables to do shots. You think you're doing a shot, but it's like iced tea, and it's weird. They do shots of iced tea and eat fruit at the table. That's like a thing they do, which I thought was really weird.
Oh, that was a fun trip, definitely. If anyone's ever been to China, if things calm down in the world, it's definitely a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, I'd love to go back.
No, definitely. Cool, man. How's it been? Like, I mean, so what do you do like day to day outside of your streetboarding bubble? You know, what's your day to day work? What do you do outside of streetboarding?
So I work in advertising. So that keeps me pretty busy. So I work for a international billboard company. So if Dragon ever want to be on Times Square, then come talk to me.
Oh man,
how's it been in lockdown up there?
Say again?
How's it been up in lockdown there, man? Are you working from home and shit? Or?
Yeah, so we're working from home pretty much straight away from March. I was then on furlough for 3 months, pretty much. For anyone who doesn't know what furlough means, it basically is that the government paid me to not work for 3 months because of no one could really do their job properly. Which was amazing. I thought I wasn't going to be able to cope. I thought I was like, you're so ingrained in work that you need something to keep you going. Mm-hmm. But I loved it. We just like painted the house and did loads of DIY and like just kind of chilled for 3 months. Quite nice. But yeah, now I'm back kind of working full time at home. But yeah, Manchester's had we've had like slightly tighter restriction from everyone else. So since the start of August, pretty much, we've not been able to socialize at anyone else's house or have anyone come to our house or socialize like indoors with people. So you can meet people like in the park or in the beer garden or something, but not indoors. But it kind of feels like right now it's going to be moving that way everywhere else. Probably a lot more places are like that as we kind of move back into that phase, but it's not been too bad really.
And how have you occupied your time? I see you've been doing some DIY, getting your house done.
Yeah, well, I was doing the DIY when I was off work, but as soon as I'm back in work, it's like it's just busy again, like most of your day, and then you're kind of tired from work. And I guess we've been doing a lot of like going out for like hikes and walks, because that's like one of the kind of main things you can do quite easily and just like get away from people. And
I've been seeing that, man. You've been getting heavily into your kind of landscape photography and pictures of buildings as well.
Yeah.
Into photography.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of always been interested in photography, and I go through little phases of taking photos and then not really bothering. And it's normally like if I go away, like on holiday or travel somewhere, then I'll take more photos because it's a bit more interesting. But then I thought, I don't know, recently, I think we just come back from 2 weeks in Scotland, and I think ahead of Scotland, I was like, right, I'm going to buy myself a new camera. Like, Scotland's going to be beautiful. I'm going to take a load of photos. So, that's pretty much all I did. I like pissed my wife off by like every time we drive somewhere, I have to pull over and take a photo, and she's like, oh God, come on again. Yeah, I'm kind of getting into it. Not like super serious, but it's quite fun.
They look good, man. How's Elle? How's the cat?
Yeah, Elle's good. Cat's good. Cat keeps us entertained.
Yeah, man. I got a cat.
I know. I saw. He's cool.
Yeah, he was going berserk earlier on. I had to lock him out. I was hoping he'd be like chill on my shoulder while I do this, but no, I don't think so. Maybe not.
Next time, man. Next time.
I want to ask you about like what you feed it and shit, but it's going to like make for a really boring streetboarding podcast for some people. I don't know.
Yeah, we do a separate one.
Huh?
No, he gets.
How old is he?
He's 18 months. Yeah, 18 months. Yeah.
Is he on a raw diet?
Yeah.
He's on a raw diet?
No, he's on... he just eats normal food. But then we feed him... with his breakfast, he has like some tablets because he keeps getting like some weird infection. So he's got something that... Yeah.
I want to feed my cat like the raw diet, man. It's all like duck hearts and ground up bones and shit like that, you know. It seems right. Anyway, Jamie?
I was waiting for you, man. No, I saw you following through. Well, I mean, I think, we've covered most of the subjects we were going to for this time. Actually, no, we haven't.
Oh, no, man. You wanted to talk about videos and competition, video parts and competitions. And what we were messaging about earlier on, man, like the benefits of a video part over a competition.
Well, I think Jay and I spoke about this all the time, and I think firstly, like anyone that's ever made a video part, like massive respect to anyone that's done that, because the process that you go through, it's a lot of effort, and I'd recommend it to anyone because I think it's such a cool thing to do. But it's there's a lot of amazing riders that have never made one, and there's also a lot of riders that have made amazing video parts that you don't see in contests, either don't enter them or don't necessarily do well. But I think that it feels like in streetboarding, it's kind of overlooked. Like we're quite a small scene, but those that kind of appreciate video parts seems to be even smaller. And I think it's something that people should in my opinion, appreciate a little bit more, because it's kind of what really progresses the sport. So if you think, let's face it, like in the last 20 years, the best trick in a contest is kind of been the same trick. Like someone still tries a backside rodeo, doesn't land it. Someone tries a double backflip, doesn't land it. And it's there's no disrespect for those tricks. They're they're hard tricks, but because the sport isn't in a situation where we turn up at a different part that's not really designed for streetboarding. People can't train in the same way. It's in proper action sports, it's quite consistent, and people train these specific tricks that they land on the day. It doesn't work like that. And so the real progression for me kind of lies in not necessarily street skating, but video part skating, and that's where we've kind of seen it evolve, because people have got the time to film tricks. We've been there where we've been at a spot for 2 hours to film one trick so someone can land it. Like, those are tricks that you cannot land in one skate park run. So I think it's really important that continues, and it has. I think it has started to die out a little bit, and I don't follow like skateboarding and stuff as much as I used to. But I think the kind of social media era, everyone wants something instant. People view stuff on mobile. People are spoilt with the amount of content that they see. And you're just scrolling and you see some amazing stuff that 20 years ago you would like wait 6 months to watch it on a video with all your friends around. You scroll past, then you watch something else and you kind of forget about it. And people don't want to wait, or they can't afford to wait. If they film an amazing trick, you can't leave that for 2 years before you put it in a video. It's going to be burning inside of you. You want to put that on Instagram straight away. So it's kind of changed. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think that's kind of where it's gone.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I totally agree, man. There's so much more thought and heart that goes into a video part as well that people don't always see. That I know, with you, and we've spent hours meticulously planning your spots, the trick that you want to get down, the angle you want to get down, and that in a contest it's like you just got to do it then and there. But when you've got that trick in your mind that you've had on your trick list to go in that part, and you do it, but you don't land it exactly how you've landed it in your mind, it's like you want to get that down. And it's like trying to create that perfect record of your skating in that way. And there's people who've never filmed a video part probably won't ever get that, and how much effort and heart goes into it.
Yeah, and for me, it's like, it's not just, a good video isn't just the tricks. It's kind of everything. You want to, ideally, it wants to kind of tell a story. It wants to show the personality of the rider and everything that goes into that. And that's probably where a lot of videos go wrong. It's just like, it's just trick, and you watch it and it's a little bit overwhelming. And whilst the tricks were amazing, you don't really have that amazing feeling afterwards when you've watched it. And so it's kind of, you've got to think a little bit more about it, I think, when you put it together.
No, definitely. I mean, one thing I always say is sometimes there's a lot of videos where they have so many great tricks in a row, but they've never let a trick breathe. You have to let some good tricks breathe, because otherwise they just get lost and you forget all of the tricks. And it's really having that rhythm behind it to let a trick breathe.
Yeah, it's like you kind of have to have ups and downs, and it's like a good piece of music, a good song has like, it's not just intense for the whole like 3 or 4 minutes. It's like, it's kind of up and down. It kind of takes you on a little bit of a journey, I think.
It's like good love making. Yeah, man. It's like, definitely gotta get that rhythm. Cool, man. Actually, there's one thing that we haven't spoken about talking about videos, is actually because we spoke about seldom seen, but we didn't speak about hype, which the team kind of changed for hype. So like, what happened in those years, and like who went on, for those who don't know, because it's still a while back that came out. And
yeah. So I think hype was 2013, I think we released. So it's 2 years later. So we've probably not spoken about this. I didn't really think about this until earlier when we were chatting. Is so after Seldom Seen, I guess it was kind of for me thinking what was next for the brand for day one, and we seemed like had a bit of momentum. And I think at that point, I started looking into making boards and trying to think. So yeah, I think we spoke about it, Jay, together, and I think you were looking into it as well. And we were speaking to Victor, and we were speaking to Gabby, I think, and looking at a way we could make boards. And I thought it was going to happen. I was ready to do it. And then for whatever reason, it wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be, or the goalpost change or whatever. And I just decided against it. It wasn't the right thing to do. So kind of in that process, because that took a while, and I think Matt Jacobs, who designed the latest Dragon boards, touched on it in his little interview thing on Instagram, is that we went as far as he designed the board, which looked amazing. We had it all ready and whatnot, which I think some people might have seen it. And so in that process, I guess if you don't mind me saying, Jay, I think you were looking at starting your own thing.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I think you and Sam, it was the right thing that you were going to go that way. I was going to go a slightly different way. And so we changed the team a little bit. So firstly, Tony was someone that I wanted on a few years ago. So as soon as we met, I was like, kind of, he fit exactly what the vibe was for day one. And I think at the time he wanted to join. He was doing some stuff with Addicted at the time, and then at this point it was, I don't know whether he stayed on Addicted or whatever, but the two things kind of happened. And then John, I think John was a difficult one. I think we just kind of, I think John's motivation wasn't quite there. Like, I wanted, the next thing was to like do this, move it on a little bit, like film another video, and I think Simon was in the process of moving then, and whatever happened, it didn't quite work out that it was, we're in a position for John to film the next video. But so yeah, we started on the next video project, which compared to Seldom Seen was like super easy to make. I actually think the outcome of the video, I think the video is like 10 times better than Seldom Seen. But Seldom Seen is like closer to my heart because of the process and everything that went into making that video with you guys and everyone else and everything. But I gave away a lot of control because I wasn't going to be around to film it as much. I knew I wasn't going to have the capacity to like travel as much. And I think we either sent some cameras out, or like people had access to their own footage. Simon filmed a lot of his in the US because he was starting to travel over to the US. And we just kind of did it that way. And everyone sent me their footage and I edited it together. And I wanted to make, with Hype, it was like the Seldom Seen for me, like, back then when a DVD was a thing that people still bought, it was important to release it on DVD because it made it a physical important thing. But in reality, like trying to sell DVDs to people, I mean, firstly, it's a long process. People don't end up buying them. And also you're never going to make the money back that you put into making it anyway. So there's kind of no point. And with Hype, I was like, fuck it, let's just make an online edit. And the whole purpose was to make a shorter, snappy edit that people will watch before they go skate. So try and keep it like 10, 15 minutes. You're not going to get bored watching it, and just make it really short and snappy. And that's kind of what we did. And we just released it online. It's one of my favorite videos. The end product was exactly what I wanted it to be, and I'm pretty proud of it. But yeah, hopefully everyone else enjoyed it.
Cool. No, it was sick, man. It was sick. It really was. It's kind of a similar vibe, but a different vibe than Seldom Seen. To me, it's a bit like, okay, like the team changed, but it was a bit like ill communication to Check Your Head. It was a 2-year period. Like, it was when the Beastie Boys picked up the the Fisher Price mics and had that unique sound, and it was kind of like, you know, they banged that one out 2 years after, and it was like they came close together, and it was that kind of vibe. It was that, but then perfected a little bit more, and just more to the point. I don't know, you know, I love the Beasties, and like it just kind of always makes me think of Check Your Head and Ill Communication, which are a sick period. Sick, man.
So,
Cool.
so what's next, Colin?
Yeah.
What's next? That's a good question. I don't know. I've got another project in me somewhere. I've mentioned this a lot of times, but I really like to make a documentary, a streetboard documentary. I think, if I'm honest, like the thought of just making another streetboard video of like just tricks, like I'm not that excited about. You know, we've done Seldom Seen, we've done Hype. I've worked on a few things, like, you know, edited Bob's kind of latest full edit, and I've done one with Sergi and stuff, which was amazing to do, because like getting access to that kind of footage and making something with it, like that's like the best you're gonna get. But I'm not that inspired to just edit like skate clips.
I think it's a scene with a really kind of rich history, and I think a lot of people appreciate that, and I think it would be really good to sort of kind of and that's a little bit what we're trying to do here, you know.
Exactly. I think there's some really interesting story to tell, and I think at some point I'm going to get the motivation to do it properly, because when I do things, I kind of like to try and do them as properly as possible. So yeah, I think that's something I like to do, and I think, like, as I mentioned before, like if I do a documentary, I don't want it to be one that's trying to sell streetboarding to anyone, because for me it's like that's a bit lame to do. I'd rather talk about, for me, the beauty of streetboarding is what it is, the fact that like this scene exists that I think sometimes we don't appreciate it. We're all trying to look out for this, you know, we're trying to sell ourselves, get everyone to like us and want to buy into us, and you know, more people to watch us. But actually, I think the scene that we have is incredible. The fact that we meet people from different parts of the world. Pretty much everyone that has a streetboard, if you bump into someone, you're going to chat to them. This is a unique thing that exists with us, and I think like trying to explain that to someone is like, it's almost impossible, and unless, you know, if you know, you know. And I think we should appreciate that. And so I'm not desperate for it to blow up. Like, I think it'd be weird if it did. It'd be nice if it did, because I think some people deserve to be able to kind of live off it and stuff. But it's kind of, let's appreciate what we've got, I think.
Sweet, man. No, definitely. I totally agree. Cool, man. I think that's a nice little thing to wrap up on. I think we're coming up to probably over in about the hour that we like to keep it to. But before we do, I always like to do a few quick fire questions, as you probably know. So they're normally pretty good. So pretty quick, pretty standard ones now. Who's your favorite rider ever?
See, I knew this question was coming, and I still, but I'm probably going to say Bob. And the reason is because when, I think Sam mentioned before, like when you're thinking of the tricks in your head and how you want it to be, like Bob plays that out for me in real life. Like all the tricks that I dream about, Bob's actually doing it for real, and some of his stuff is incredible. But kind of special mention to Eric as well, because Eric's got the best style there is, and probably the most talented rider that I think probably exists as well.
Cool. Your favorite video part ever?
Video part? I wasn't ready for this one.
Quick.
Oh, I don't know. Alex Morton.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is, but one of those ones.
Well, one of them. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, what's the sickest trip you've ever seen on a streetboard?
Well, I'm going to say the thing that Bob put on his Insta stories a few weeks ago that I almost missed. It wasn't until Andy told me to look at Bob's stories, and I don't know why he only just put it on stories, but it was some kind of like front board to lip to 270 something or other, and like that got me excited. Bob, send it to everyone so everyone can see it if you're listening.
Please, Ismail, send it to us. We'll put it up. The hardest trick, sickest trick you've ever done?
I don't know. I don't really do any big tricks, but maybe the one that I don't think I'll ever do again is like a nose grind 360 out, which was on this little park edit I did, which I can't remember the name of. But yeah, nose grind 360 out.
Cool. Final one. If you were stuck on a desert island, which streetboarder would you like to be stuck on a desert island with?
Okay, I think it's got to be Sergi, right? Sergi's the only one that's going to keep you going. He's going to keep you motivated. He's probably going to know someone on the desert island. He's probably going to he's going to hook up with a load of people. He's going to find some party, and he's going to like keep you going and make sure everyone's doing everything they need to do.
Cool.
You want to know mine? I've been thinking hard, man.
Yeah, well,
I'll tell you another time. Don't
worry, one day we'll have to interview each other, man. We've got to do it.
Yeah.
We got stories, man. We got stories. Cool. Well, first of all, Sam, anything else?
No, man. Thanks for talking to us.
Well, yeah, no.
Go to see you. When are we going to see each other next, properly?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're in the same country. Be easy.
No, but it's different areas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the next rules, man. I haven't watched the news today.
I don't know. Boris didn't know them yesterday, so.
Okay. Well, what hope do we have, man?
Anyway, cool.
All right.
Colin, any thank yous?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess thanks to everyone in the scene. Like, I guess that's what makes it what it is. But I guess, all the day one guys, the two of you guys, Simon, John, Tony, Eric, like all those amazing times, like all that effort that everyone put in for me, because I wanted to make a video and you didn't really get much back kind of financially. You bought into my ideas and the kind of dream of making a video. So I appreciate that, because that's a memory that I'm always going to have, I think.
No, I got a lot out of it, man. Thanks to you. Yeah,
man. I got a lot out of it too, man. Memories and a broken wrist, and it was sick, man. No, I mean, seriously, it's great. That experience, like we keep saying, it's something everyone should try, because it will make you more of a man. No.
We should make another one, man. Let's get the band back together.
Yeah, man. Cool, man. Well, Colin, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on to this episode of DRGNCAST. And to everybody out there, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. If you've got any comments, pop them in the comments. If you've got questions, pop them down there. And keep watching DRGNCAST. Oh, I've got some news. Oh, damn it. He's not here. So the guy who writes the DRGNCAST theme tune now lives here. So I might get him on next time to play us out. Yeah. Uncle CD moved into our flat. So we could get a live audition. Cool, man. Yeah, man. He's been here for a few weeks. Big up to CD. Big up to all the day one crew. And big up to Colin. This is DRGNCAST. We out.
Streetboarding dreams, future and past. Here in the present, it's DRGNCAST.